Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. So kung bago ka sa channel na ito, you can like the videos that I have, and if ever man na nagustuhan mo yung mga videos na pinupost ko, you can subscribe to my channel for you to be updated. So, yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon is yung common grammar mistakes. The purpose of the grammar is unang-una for clarity of meaning. Pangalawa is for readability. And for the third one is credibility. Like for example, yung nandito sa may left or right side. For example, let's eat grandma. Let's eat grandma. So, magkaiba lang yung punctuation. Meron lang punctuation sa pangalawa, pero nag-iba na yung meaning. So, ganun kahalaga yung grammar. So there are types of errors. Yung una is wrong word errors, yung pangalawa is punctuation errors, and yung pangatlo is usage errors. So uunahin natin muna yung wrong word errors. There are types of wrong word errors. Yung una is yung spelling and typographic mistakes. Don't just rely on spell check. So kailangan talaga, sometimes you have to check the spelling and before you publish it. Wrong meaning. You have to use the dictionary. Be careful using the thesaurus. Watch out for words with a word with the wrong shade of meaning or the wrong meaning altogether. And the third one is commonly confused words. Spell check won't catch this. So, dapat, kailangan talaga basahin, intindihin mo na before para maging tama. So, commonly confused words. Ano ba yung mga commonly confused words? Yung there, at there. They're going to store together. Yung there na merong apostrophe is contraction siya ng they are. The managers are in their weekly meeting. So yung THEIR is possessive. Place the flowers there. It's an adverb and it indicates location or direction. So tatandaan natin, pag there, yung merong apostrophe, it is a construction of they are. Pag there naman, it is a possessive. Pag yung spelling ay THEIR, possessive. And yung there naman, na yung spelling ay THERE, it indicates the location or a direction. So, tingnan naman natin yung your and your. You're going to be a great writer. That is the construction of you are. Pag your hair looks like nicely today, pag yung spelling niya is Y-O-U-R, it's a possessive. Whose? So, who's on first base? It's a contraction of who is. And whose naman, whose watch this is a possession. Yung spelling niya ay W-H-O-S-E. Yung it's. It's a beautiful day. Pag merong apostrophe, contraction siya ng it is. Download the program along with its readme file. Pag walang apostrophe, it's possessive. It's not a word. So pag yung apostrophe after ng S, hindi siya salita. So walang word na yung apostrophe sa its ay nasa hulihan. Affect, effect. The outage shouldn't affect anyone during records. So yung affect, verb, to act on or influence. The outage shouldn't have any effect on users. Effect, noun, or result yung meaning niya. To. So I'm going to the store. Pag TO lang, preposition. She decided to go along to. Pag TOO, adverb siya. Also. Yung meaning niya is also. My jacket is too small. Adverb din. To an excessive amount. So yun yung gamit niya. I have 2 buttons missing. Number. A lot, and a lot. So, pag yung A hiwalay sa L, the workers are worrying a lot about their jobs, it means it is an adverb, which means to a great degree or extent. Pag yung A naman nakadikit sa L, a lot is not a word. So, wala pong salita na A, tapos magkadugtong yung L sa O tsaka T. Wala pong word na a lot. We were each allotted 20 tickets. So, pag allot, double L, it's a verb to assign or distribute. So, dito na tayo sa commonly punctuation errors. Commas. Ano ba yung mga example ng punctuations? Comma, period, colon, semicolon. So ngayon, aalamin natin kung ano ba yung maling paggamit ng mga punctuations or yung mga tinatawag nating punctuation errors. Unahin natin sa commas. Use a comma in a coordinating conjunction. So gagamit tayo ng comma sa mga coordinating conjunctions. Ano ba yung mga coordinating conjunction? Ito na yon, yung and, but, for, or, nor, so, yet. To join two independent clauses. The game was over. So, bago ka gumamit ng coordinating conjunction, gagamit ka muna ng comma. But the crowd refused to leave. Yesterday was her birthday, comma, so they went out to dinner. Use commas after introductory clauses, phrases, or words that come before the main clause. So, while I was eating, the cat scratched at the door. To get a seat, you'd better come early. Well, perhaps he meant no harm. Use commas to separate three or more words, phrases, or clauses written in a series. The Constitution establishes the legislative, executive, and judicial branches of government. Use commas to set apart a parenthetical phrase in a sentence. My friend Jessica, comma, who lives in Connecticut, is a yoga teacher. So, paano naman natin gagamitin yung semicolons? Use a semicolon between two related independent clauses that are not joined by a conjunction. So, pag walang conjunction, gagamit tayo ng semicolon. The participants in the first study were paid, semicolon, those in the second were unpaid. The next one is use a semicolon to separate elements in a series that already contains commas. So, the students in the class were from Lynchburg, Virginia, semicolon, Washington, D.C., semicolon, and Raleigh, North Carolina. So, semicolons. You have to use semicolon to join two independent clauses when the second clause begins with a conjunctive verb. Example niya is yung however, therefore, moreover, furthermore, thus, meanwhile, nonetheless, otherwise, or the transition. In fact, for example, that is, for instance, in addition, in other words, or in the other hand. I really have no interest in politics. However, I do not like to stay informed by watching the debate. So, always remember, gagamit tayo ng semicolon to join two independent clauses. When the second clause begins with a conjunctive verb, ano ba yung tinatawag nating conjunctive verb? Ito na yung however, therefore, moreover, furthermore, thus, meanwhile, nonetheless, otherwise. Or yung mga tinatawag nating transition. Yung mga example ng transition, in fact, for example, that is, for instance, in addition, in other words, or on the other hand. So, bago po ito yung mga salitang ito, yung mga conjunctive adverb and transition, kailangan yung gumamit ng semicolons. So, punta naman tayo sa colons. So, use a colon to introduce a list preceded by an independent clause. So, the application includes the following pieces: personal, personal information, job history, and references. So, pag merong mga list preceded, use a colon to introduce a list preceded. Kailangan nyo gumamit ng colon. So, for example, the following are the people who passed the exam. So, gagamit kayo ng colon bago nyo sulatin yung mga nakapasa. Okay, use a colon to separate an independent clause and the final phrase or clause that illustrates, extends, or amplifies the preceding thought. Ito yung example. They have agreed on the outcome and farm participants perform better than to do uniform participants. So, bago yung after yung independent clause, gumamit dito ng colon. So, apostrophes. Paano ba tayo gagamit ng apostrophes? So, you have to use apostrophe to create a contraction. But don't use constructions in your academic writing. I don't like him very much. Ano ba yung mga contraction? For example, kagaya dito ng don't. Contraction siya ng do not. So, para mabuo yung don't, kailangan gumamit ng apostrophe. Use an apostrophe to form a possessive noun. So, para ma-form yung possessive noun, kailangan tayong gumamit ng apostrophe. So, ito yung tatandaan natin ha. Do not, as in do not. use an apostrophe to form a plural. Hindi pwedeng gumamit ng apostrophe para makabuo tayo ng plural. Remember that it's, apostrophe, it is, but it's is a possessive. Okay? So, yung it's, tapos yung apostrophe niya after ng T, contraction siya ng it is. Pero yung ITS, ano po, possessive yon. Pero yung ITS, S, yung it's, tapos yung spelling niya ITS, tapos apostrophe, wala pong salitang ganon. Okay? So, dito na tayo sa quotation marks. The sentence ends with a quotation. If there is no parenthetical citation, put your final mark of punctuation inside the quotation mark. So, yung example niya dito is, that dog is as big as a horse. So, yung sentence daw ends with a quotation. And, if there is no parenthetical citation, hindi naman siya parenthetical citation, you have to put your final mark of punctuation inside the quotation marks. So, sa loob po yung quotation marks bago yung quotation marks. So, if the sentence continues after the quotation, you'll usually need a comma after your quotation but before your final quotation mark. So, example niya, I wish this workshop were over, comma, quotation mark, John said. Okay, so, pag walang parenthetical citation, ipuput niyo yung punctuation mark inside ng quotation mark. Pero pag meron namang pero if you need to use a comma after quotation but before the final quotation, dapat nasa after nun yung quotation mark. So if the quotation ends in an exclamation point or question mark, omit the comma. So I hate going to the dentist. So yung quotation mark again, John below. So ganun siya. Quotation marks ulit. If your sentence ends with a footnote, pag yung sentence nag-e-end sa footnote, put the subscript number after your final mark of punctuation. According to Car and Driver, the Denali is among the most agile of full-size sport utility devices. So if the sentence ends with a parenthetical citation, omit the punctuation at the end of the quotation. So ganito na yung magiging yung itsura. So that's end of my video for today. So if umabot ka sa videong ito, sa end ng videong ito, salamat sa pakikinig and thank you.